the Talking Leeds podcast with Aaron Marshall and George Brooke.
Hello there, and welcome to Talking Leeds podcast. We talk all things Leeds United. Where's Mr. Aaron Marshall? I do not know. I'm here alone today, doing the pod. There's two people watching, marching on together. Give me your comments give me your comments, give me your thoughts on everything Leeds United over the past week or so. I know Jerry and Aaron gave their thoughts on the win on Friday yesterday. I think they wanted to just pan out and see what the weekend was going to end up looking like before they gave the views on it. So they gave the views on it yesterday, and I want to know your views on it in the comments there below. And I'll give my 2 pence on it as well as we go into this special edition, I suppose, Leeds, Talking Leeds, and everything is marvellous on a Monday night. Obviously, we don't usually do it on a Monday, but I said to Aaron Ryan, why not do it? Why not do it today? Because, there's a game tomorrow. Have a look at the Forest game. Then we can have a look at the Chelsea game and have a think about what we think about Chelsea in the meantime. But good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody watching. 4 people watching. Give me your comments in the section below. We're live on YouTube. You can listen to it afterwards and everything else. But let's talk about Nottingham Forest. Ooh, goodness me. Nottingham Forest on a Friday night. And Leeds United dispatched of them pretty easily, didn't we? Chopping down Forest on a Friday night. Absolutely delightful. So I thought we played well. We played well on Friday. I thought, lovely goal. I mean, what about Ilya Gruev? Ilya Gruev, real standout performer on Friday, wasn't he? He really enjoyed his time out there, I think, and it looked a bit like I thought, had we signed Pirlo back in the day? An absolute brilliant performance from Ilya. And Mr. Marshall, hello to you. Hello to you. How are you? How are you today, this evening? And talking about Leeds. But yeah, I think ultimately, I thought we played well. It's a great point. I mean, you can see that Ellen Road is a real fortress for Leeds now, isn't it? And the games, looking at the games I've got left, I think we've got less home games than we do away games. I think we've got 6 home games, 7 away games. And, I really think if we're looking into, into March, because I think the next 3 are the next 3 are difficult, to say the least. I think if we can get through the next 3 without being in the relegation zone, I think we're doing okay. I think, obviously we've got City coming up after Chelsea and Villa. Chelsea game, for me, obviously, if we beat them, obviously, in December. But that seems quite a long time ago, with given Chelsea's form has really upturned since Liam Rossini has come in. Done a marvellous job, really, when you think about it. His first position in the Premier League, and and he's really, he's really doing well. And excuse me, You know, a bit of a tickle in my throat there, but never mind. Never mind. Yeah, but if you look at the next three, obviously we've got um, Chelsea tomorrow evening at Stamford Bridge. Is a real difficult situation to kind of come away with 3 points. I think, you know, Ellen Road, under the lights especially, is a completely different beast, isn't it? You know, a lot of teams are going to struggle, and that is a real positive for Leeds United to go to Ellen Road and, you know, have teams come there, of which the teams, you know, we've still got Wolves to come at Ellen Road, we've still got Burnley to come at Ellen Road. You know, there's other teams down there still to visit Ellen Road, and you just think we got a chance there. Make it a fortress, which is what they've done. We've lost 3 games at Ellen Road all year. You know, the away form just is a real stickler. We really do need to pick up the away form, but I think ultimately home form is what's gonna keep us up, isn't it? I think, you know, on Friday it was absolutely bouncing. I mean, that, like I said, that ball from Milad Gruev to set up Jaden Bogle was sumptuous, wasn't it? It was absolutely delightful. You know, he just looked up and he said, "Have a bit of that, Jaden," and then he ran onto it and just put it in the net. I mean, you can question the defensive display, which was absolutely horrible from their point of view, from Nottingham Forest point of view, but that's not for us to worry about. You know, we were on the end of it. Jaden got on the end of it. It was a lovely finish. The goalkeeper was slightly hesitant, to say the least, but, you know, 1-0, what a good do. 2-0 a couple of, minutes later. It was an excellent do, really, you know, and I was pleased for Noah Okafor, because I think he gets a lot of stick from a lot of people. Sometimes I don't know whether that's warranted. So, you know, yes, he hasn't scored the goals that maybe he could have done, but look, Calvert-Lewin's doing that job for him. He's now got 3 as Okafor. You know, Metcha's got 5. And obviously, you know, the powers that be thought that, you know, those guys, and obviously the other forward lads can help towards safety. And I think it was a shame that we haven't seen Buonanotte. You know, you tried so hard to get him in the summer, and then he wasn't even in the team squad. He wasn't even in the squad at all for Friday's game. It was a little bit of an odd, little bit of an odd selection from Fark. But, you know, that's ultimately it paid off. I mean, I thought, yeah, you know, to be 2-0 up after half an hour in such an important game, you can't really argue with that. And I think, like I said, I was happy for Noah to get his goal, and I just thought we just look so assured at home, and it's such a shame when when you go away from home and you can't really replicate it for some reason. I mean, obviously we go 3-0 up. It's a lovely bit of improvisation from DCL, isn't it? And from, for what it's worth, he has been a fabulous addition to this, to this squad. I mean, yes, we should have brought in a striker. We should have had one in the winter window. The banking on him staying fit and scoring goals. There's rumours all the time that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is injured, etc. There was another one, I think, floating around the day saying that he was ill and not ready for Chelsea. Who knows if that's true? I haven't really listened to what Mr. Farkas said, actually. I know, we can look at the team news in a little while after we've unpacked the Forest game. Anybody, watching, give me your thoughts on it, in the comments there. But yeah, for me, Friday night it should be a real turning point for Leeds. I know people are screwing on Saturday, the West Ham win, but Burnley, we're never going to get anything out of that. West Ham are, you take that Chelsea debacle out of the equation, and West Ham have done very, very well. Mr. Crysencio Somerville has been on an absolutely fabulous running, scoring spree over the last sort of 5 games in all competitions. I think he's scored 5 goals in the last 5 games in all comps. So, and I think it's 4 out of 4 in the Premier League. So he's doing well. West Ham on the whole are doing well, but look, they strengthened, didn't they? They got Tati Castellanos and the other lad Pablo, was it, from Portugal. So they strengthened. We didn't in those attacking areas other than Buonanotte and obviously Farks not even using him, but we got the job done. And hello, Realist 369, how are you this evening? I don't know if Aaron did any socials, but he said he was going to do, but I don't know if he did. And we're here tonight on a Monday evening. It's not the regular spot, but like I said at the top, people, I wanted to come on and give you my thoughts on the Forest game, and then have a quick look at Chelsea towards the sort of end of the session. Might last about half an hour. Let's see how we go. But give me your thoughts. How did you see the game? Realist, did you watch it? Who stood out for you? Do you agree with me that we really need to up the ante in terms of away performances now, because we're not really, you can only rely so much on Ellen Road. We've got, like I said, we've got 6 home games left. They'd all be winnable games, I would have said. I think now off the top of my head, I think we've played all 6 of the current top 6 at home, but don't quote me. I think that's right. So I think the 6 games that we've got, obviously 2 of them at Ellen Road are against the 2 of the bottom 3, and then I think we've got Brentford, haven't we, still to come. We've got Brighton still to come at Ellen Road. So that's 4 of them. I don't know the other 2, but you've got that to bank on. That's 18 points to go at, and I would have said we could get quite a few wins under our belts there against teams like Brighton. You look at Brighton yesterday and you think, goodness me, they're really looking poor. Those fans are wanting their manager gone, and we're only 2 points off. I know it's a big ask for us to go to Chelsea tomorrow night and win the game, but if we do that, obviously we leapfrog them, and we, at 32 points, that then starts to look a little bit better, doesn't it? And 32 points, we went down the last time we were in the Premier League. We went down on 31. So, we're doing a lot better than we did last time. It feels a lot more solid, than it did last time, definitely. And obviously my callings for the manager were obviously premature at the moment. And obviously, Fark, deserves a lot of credit for where he's pulled this team out of the kind of mire that they were in sort of late November. And they've really, he's really got them together and got them shining on together, but and marching on together, of course. And I would, team selection is a little bit odd for me sometimes, but that's just me, and that's just my opinion of how he works the team sometimes. But you can't complain too much, I think. From here, if we, and the teams at the top of the league, Arsenal, you're always, unfortunately, it seems a Leeds United way to get beat heavy against teams like Arsenal. But even at Ellen Road, very impressive display really from Arsenal, because I don't know the last time we got beat 4 at Ellen Road, but it'd probably be the season we went down, wouldn't it, to be fair? But yeah, I think it doesn't happen regularly, and for them to come there and beat us convincingly. All right, defensively it was really poor, but the top of the league for a reason. They're dispatching teams, very, very quickly and very easily at the moment, and they look all set, don't they, really, to secure the first title in what would be 22 years, I think, something like that, since the Invincibles. So you can't grumble so much at that. I think, if you win your home games against teams like Forest, obviously, who are down there with us, and then you win your you draw your away games, against the rest of the league, if you like. You're not judged on the top six, are you? If you win the rest of your, you win your home games against the teams that are in and around you. You draw the away games and win the odd one around, teams around you. Then you're going to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. And I think it'd be nice to see us move a little bit further up the table, if I'm being honest. We're 16th. We don't seem to have left that position pretty much all season. And we're always just hovering, it seems, obviously above the relegation zone, but 6 points is still, it's a good little cushion, is that? Because obviously tomorrow's a real difficult game for Leeds. Like I said, Liam Rosenior, deserves a heck of a lot of credit. I think they've won 5 in a row, maybe. I think maybe it's 5 in a row in all competitions. I'm not so sure, but I think they've won 5 Premier League games in a row. Sorry, they lost in the League Cup, didn't they, the other week to Arsenal? But I think they've won 5 Premier League games on the spin, or 4 Premier League games on the spin. It might be, actually. But even so, yeah, that's right. I think they're going for 5 wins in a row against us. So even so, they're in a much better shape than they were when they came to Ellen Road in December. And you can probably expect a completely different game to what we had with them in December. Obviously, for one, it's at their patch. Chelsea seem to do well against Leeds of recent times at Stamford Bridge. I think the last time we won there might have been like 23 years ago. I think we won 2-0. James Milner was on the score sheet that afternoon at Stamford Bridge. I think that's the last time we beat them at Stamford Bridge. They like to score 3 against us at Ellen Road. I know a couple of years ago, once in the FA Cup, we went there. Matteo Joseph scored 2. We lost 3-2. I think the time before that was when Joe Gelhardt, Joffrey scored, wasn't it? And we lost 3-2 with a last-minute Jorginho penalty. And then I think even in the COVID season, it was a 3-1 win. I think we took the lead, didn't we, through Patty Bam Bam? But then they came back and saw us away in the last stage of the game. I think Giroud might have scored a goal. They seem to score quite a few goals. 3 seems to be the magic number for Chelsea at Ellen Road, at Stamford Bridge against our particular side. But hopefully tomorrow even is slightly different. Obviously we will go there with confidence. Chelsea, like we know, of course, will be confident as well. They're up in the higher echelons of the division, obviously, as they should be, with the amount of money that has gone into their squad over these recent years, and the might that Chelsea have. And obviously, Liam Rosenior is he's a fabulous manager. I think Hull City will still be ruined the day that they sacked him. I don't know why they did that, because he is an exceptional young English manager. And all right, maybe it's easy to go on and do what he's done at Chelsea when you've got the caliber of player that he has. But there's no doubt about it. He's turned it around, and he's got them playing, in a good way, scoring goals and winning games of football. And I can't see where. Carl's 4-3 win incoming. That would be incredible, Carl. I just, I hope so. Anything is a bonus. Anything is a bonus on because you're not expected to win. You're not expected to win in London. I know Aaron, he loves the London stat, and we haven't won a Premier League game in London for about, I don't even know when. I can't remember. It's a long time. It's a long time now, and I think, like I said, if Chelsea were in the dire straits they were in December, we might have had a chance. But at the moment, I don't think we have. And Realist says next 3 games could easily be 0 points, but then the last 10 should bring many points. That's what I was saying earlier, mate. You know what I mean? I think if we can get through the next 3, obviously City and Villa away back to back, Chelsea and Villa, Chelsea tomorrow night, Villa on, obviously we've got the break for the FA Cup, haven't we? But obviously Villa, when we come back in a couple of weeks' time, obviously we've got them to play, and then it's City at home. And to be quite honest, a lot of people would say, no, what you're talking about. But I think that we're more likely, and obviously people might see this as a little bit more of a steady opinion as well. Maybe we would be more likely to get points out of City at home than we are to get points from either of the next two. So I would probably realistically agree with you, realists, obviously, in saying that the next three. You probably would say that it's probably going to be nothing, but there's a feeling that I have that maybe we might get something from City at home, but that's just me. You often go into these games and think, oh yeah, maybe we can get something, and then we get smashed 3-4, 5-0. So it can easily go the other way. They've got quality players like Arsenal did, and Arsenal turned up and turned us over, didn't they? Obviously. So you think we'll get another 15 points? Anybody else watching in the comments? How many points are we going to get in the last, 15 games, is it we've got left now? Is it 14 games, I think, or 13 games, is it? I think it's 13 games, isn't it, we've got left? How many points are we going to get in the remaining 13 games? Obviously, that's a good lot of points to go for, isn't it? There are 39 points to go for. So you think we're going to get 15 points, so that would land us on 44 points, which would probably keep us up, wouldn't it? Really, that I think. And I did one of these Premier League predictors, I think, the other day, and I was trying to be as unbiased as I could. And I think it had us in I had us finishing 15th or something like that, on something around 44, 45 points. And we stayed up comfortably in that table. I mean, I think it was West Ham that went down eventually in there. And, I think, yeah, it's anybody's, isn't it? I mean, I would personally, I'd love, obviously, I think everybody would love for Spurs to go down. I think it would be quite a laugh, for them finishing 17th and getting relegated. It's what we did, wasn't it, when we got relegated last, of course. But a team like Spurs obviously shouldn't be anywhere near the relegation zone. Obviously they are. It's been mismanaged. And it is what it is. That's what you get for mismanagement and everything else. But Villa might be, but how do you see tomorrow's game going? Because we might have a chance. It was disappointing, the game with Villa at Ellen Road, wasn't it? When we were winning, we looked fairly compact and comfortable, and then it just went the pot, didn't it, in the second half? Early concession of a goal after half time, and then that free kick from Morgan Rogers was, all right, you can say, well, it's a good finish, but could have really been avoided. I think Pascal Strauch, he slipped or something, gave away a free kick, and then suddenly it was, he got it up and over the wall, and that was that, But obviously we nearly came back, didn't we? Nearly got a draw out of that game, actually, because it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, wasn't it, in the point where we just, he handballed it in the goal, didn't he? It was real disappointing, that, wasn't it? But to be honest, for me, that was at a point where I was like, doesn't matter if we draw, he's kind of got to go. And I think it was at that point where he it was getting on the edge of it. And I think it was towards the City game, wasn't it? And you thought, whoa, he's on the edge here of collapse. But obviously pulled it up, and we got points from there. And you think 4 wins and 3 draws. So that's not too bad. That means we lose 6. So that's 15 points, like you said, and you'd probably see us home, wouldn't it? And hopefully you're right. Hopefully we stay up, and what we need. But if we stay up, we need real investment in the summer. I think we would really need an overhaul of the team in general, and handpick these players that would not an overhaul, should I say, handpick the players that would really, that would really make the difference in this team, because ultimately we have a kind of a strong base. The lads have been together, most of them through the whole of the championship, the 2 seasons in the second division, and then this season makes it a third, doesn't it? And then you're hoping that you've got a good nucleus, a good base to work from. I think the goalkeeper situation obviously needs to be sorted out. I don't think Carl Darlow is the answer. He's got the shirt until otherwise. I mean, I think Arsenal was a bit of a free hit, wasn't it? And I know he fluffed that goal in, but it was a really awful error. And if Perry makes that mistake, I think a lot of people are jumping on his back quite, a lot more than they were Darlow. But I think if he, unless I think until we lose to a team that we should maybe be beating, or we've got a chance of beating, I think he probably stays in between the between the goalposts, and I think Perry's just going to have to wait it out. If I know there was interest in him in January, obviously there's interest in Ilan Melier as well from the same club, obviously Besiktas in Turkey, and if we ship one or the other one out of them at the end of the season, obviously you don't want to lose anybody now, and obviously you can't. But hopefully nobody gets injured, because obviously Ilan Melier hasn't played a minute, but he's still on the books. If you just have him there as kind of backup to the backup, you don't know, suspensions, injury can happen to Darlow and Perry, and then you're screwed, aren't you? So you've got to keep him in and around it. But I expect, maybe even Perry goes as well, and all three of them maybe, because we really do need a proper, proper steady goalkeeper. I think Perry can be that, but I think he just hasn't had the consistent minutes, to be honest. He's had injury earlier on in the season. He lost his place to Darlow, didn't he, earlier on in the season? And he's obviously been in and out the side now because of obviously mistakes. But at some point, you're going to have to say, yeah, okay, we he made a few mistakes, but he's part of the team. I think he signed a 4-year contract, did he, in the summer when he arrived? So, sometimes these lads just take a little bit of time to get used to a new country, a new league, etc., etc., etc. And then, eventually they might come good. Hopefully he will, because, they spent a lot of money on him, and realistically, he's probably not about to leave, is he, in the summer? So I think Perry's the number one, and then you obviously let Elan go, and you bring in another number two, and then Darlow drops down to number three, because realistically, I think he's 35, and it's not the most steady of hands to go into another Premier League season if we were to stay up. So hopefully, regardless of the division we're in, I hope that they improve the goalkeeping situation. Obviously, there's a striker there that needs to be plugged the gap in as well. And I would say there's a wing back if you're going to continue playing the sort of 3-5-2 formation. I'd say we need another wing back, and maybe another couple of wing backs, and maybe another strengthening in the middle, because you don't know, like Tanaka probably won't be about, will he? It's a real shame what's happened to him, how his minutes have really been curtailed, and I don't understand it. But I think at Everton a couple of weeks ago, he played awful, didn't he, in that little cameo he had, and yeah, he was the toast of the town, wasn't he, on around Christmas, just before that, and then suddenly he's just not getting much of a minutes, and obviously it's due to Brendan's really high quality of performances of late. I don't expect the team tomorrow to be that much difference. Obviously, there's an enforced change with Pascal Strout being injured, isn't there? So we have to make a change there. I expect it will probably be James Justin. He'll drop into the back three with Biol and Rodon, and then obviously Biol will come in. He didn't play, did he, on Friday? So he'll come in, and then it'll probably be pretty similar from there, I reckon. With Bogle and Gudmundsson on the playing as wing backs, and Aronson, Ampadu, and Gruev obviously will keep his place, and you'd expect it to be very similar. I'd expect that to be the only change enforced, obviously, for Fark. Carl says, I'd take another 12 points, meaning West Ham would need 19 because of goal difference, unless we get smashed a few games to ruin that. Yeah, well, that's the other thing why it was so disappointing to lose at 4-0 to Arsenal the other week, because, last weekend, because you just think, come on, keep it to a minimum. The goal difference could play a real part, Carl, in the end of it. We know it will, potentially. So, you can't get tongue, just, all right, you're playing big teams like Man City, Chelsea, etc. Difficult games and grounds to go to in terms of Stamford Bridge. You got to keep it compact. If you're going to lose by 1 or 2. Don't lose by 3, 4, 5, because that ultimately puts another point on it, and we really, really don't want that. We've only been tonked a couple of times, to be fair, and both of them have been by Arsenal. Obviously 5-0 and 4-0. I don't know. I really don't know what it is about Arsenal. It just seems like it's their God-given right to kind of come in and score 4 or 5 goals against us. It seems a little bit like that. They can't seem to ever keep it to a sort of a minimum, can they? But why would you if you're scoring goals, then fill your boots? But from our point of view, I think we do need to keep the goal difference down, because otherwise it's going to become a bit of a squeaky bum time situation, and we really don't want that. We're 6 points above it as it is, 13 games to go. The way I see it, obviously now, pretty much, win your home games, try and draw your away games maybe, and obviously anything else is a bonus from them. But just every game is a ticket is ticked off. Now West Ham play Man United, I think, on Wednesday night, innit? And that lad will be getting his hair cut, won't he? I think, potentially, hopefully, actually, from our point of view, obviously, and hopefully we've got some kind of confidence boosting result tomorrow night, even though it doesn't seem likely. But if we've got a good, a good something, a point, or who knows, 3 we can dream of. A double over Chelsea would be excellent, wouldn't it? But if we get anything, then you just sit back and you say, "Hey, go on then, see what you can do, West Ham." And it's that sort of time of the season, getting to that time of the season where you, where you sort of said, "Oh well, maybe we can." We have to rely on the likes of Man United. We had to rely on Chelsea to get a win. Anybody who's playing West Ham now, we put on their colours and we say, "Come on, let's have a win." Especially if we have won, to take the pressure off. If we win tomorrow, then the pressure is completely on them, and we then can start to kind of look a little bit further up the table and say, maybe we can do something here. And yeah, it's going okay, Aaron. Thank you. Are you coming on? Are you? I've just texted you. That would be the gobbledygook thing of something, whatever it said. But if you want to come on, I mean, I probably would be wrapping it up in the next sort of 5 minutes if you're not going to bother. But if you are, obviously jump on. Now the score, you've got the details and everything, so you can just come on. But it's going all right, mate. I'll probably wrap up in the next few minutes if you're not around to come on. But there's 7 people watching. It's good to have a few of you guys commenting in. Anybody else? Give me your thoughts on the Chelsea game tomorrow. And obviously the state of players we've been talking about, in terms of the squad and everything like that, and where it might need improving in the summer. Should we stay up? Obviously, they can't do anything now, but they've got a plan for both eventualities. Hopefully, it's the staying up one, and we can keep progressing. And the summer, real keep progressing. I mean, the thing is with when we came up, obviously we had that crazy COVID season where we finished 9th. But the other 2 seasons in the Premier League were more of a barometer of where we were, really. and obviously finished 17th, and then we got relegated. So when we finished 17th, the recruitment was all wrong, wasn't it? So what we would need to do if we was to stay up this time, the recruitment has to be, like I said, hand pick the lads that are gonna do you well. Don't just scattergun it like some teams do. We've seen Sunderland do a little bit. We've seen Forest do it in the past. Just throw a lot at the wall and see what sticks. That's kind of that's been their kind of transfer policy at the moment. So yeah, but otherwise, I think we've made a lot of signings. We came up, we got 10 in, I think it was. So maybe you just pick four, maybe half that, 4 or 5, and real cherry pick them, hand pick them to make sure that they fit in with this group that we're building and that we've already got the nucleus of. Like I said, look at the back four. It's other than Biol, you had to look at the starting lineup on Friday. I think 7 of those boys played in the championship for us last year. So it was, just add players to it where you need it. And I would say, should we stay up? I would say the way that we play at the moment, I would say we'd need probably 5. Yeah, probably 5 to really kind of, 5 or 6. If probably 2 goalkeepers. I would say maybe. But other than that, obviously we know what we need, and so I think you look at it and you say, hey, but with that's the next season, we've got to knuckle down and get on with it this time round. We're going to hit a little bit of a rough patch, rough period where if we haven't won in the next 3, then as long as we're not too in or too far gone from the relegation zone, if we start March with a home game against Sunderland, don't we? So Sunderland's the other one of the 6 home games, which is another winnable one. I don't know what the last one is, but off the top of my head, but the home games are winnable basically, and we start March with a home game against Sunderland, which is very much winnable. If we can keep it intact now to the point where we're sort of, we might get 1 point, we might get 3 points, who knows? But in the next 3, but if we can keep it respectable with these 3 games coming up that look on paper very difficult, then we can reassess in March with 10 games to go and say, right, we've got a good hit at this now. We can really get some points on the board, like really said, and Aaron is, I don't know, he's not available at the moment, mate. I don't know what's he doing, but I will probably wrap it up there really and say good evening to you, everybody who's watching. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, whenever you listen to it, whatever time you're listening to it. It will go out on the stations, and everybody enjoy it. Comment in your, what you're thinking about tomorrow night, and I will give my prediction just before I go. I would love to say Leeds United will go and win this game, but I don't really see it. Obviously, they went to Wolves and obviously won it comfortably. Cole Palmer getting a hat-trick, and they're on good form, like we said earlier. So I think it's a very, very difficult one to go there and win. I would say it might be 2-0 to Chelsea, which it'd be a real shame, but it'd be another one like the Arsenal game where you have to take on the chin and say, we probably expected that. But let me know in the comments, what you're feeling about this game. And thanks very much for watching. Marching on together. And we'll see you on the next one.